read the instructions. I've got the part right here in my hand. This is all that it took to completely, you know, make my Jeep useless, right? So I got 2 of these now. This is the first one. I'm going to take the computer out and install it and see if it works. And just so you know, well, most people who are searching for this video probably already know this. I looked extensively yesterday. I just took the entire day and just looked for more information on how to install this, more how-tos, more information, because the instructions I have, which I'll grab real quick, are detailed, right? But I'm not an electronics technician. I do not understand these things very well. So, that being said, I've decided to film this part of it just to kind of show you, give you a guide on how to, right? So that way anyone else who has this problem where their Jeep or their other vehicle with a Howell fuel injection system will not start, they can reference this video and I'll go through and I'll connect these wires so that way you also know how to do it and you can see it. I'm a visual learner. I don't learn from reading, so I'm going to show you how to do it at my expense. So let's get started on the actual video, guys. I'm excited. Okay, so first thing I need to do to get started is actually remove the door, right? So most vehicles are not going to have this issue, but with Jeeps in particular, this is pretty like big pain in the butt, right? It's easy to remove the doors, but if you don't, they're in the way. You're going to see it's already going to be cramped and it's going to be painful, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and take this thing off completely, and I'm not even going to worry about it because I don't have time for that kind of stress in my life. All right, cool. Okay, so the first step on this sheet says to remove the taper covering of harness approximately 6 to 8 inches from computer connectors and locate the tach filter and reveal, right? Yeah. Oh, done. All right. Thank God. Okay, so finally got this thing out, right? Now, I don't know what I'm doing from here. This definitely needs to be cleaned up. This pretty much just peeled right off, and this is what was holding it in place. Thank you guys at Steve's Jeep Country for doing that. I appreciate it. It's not an endorsement, I'm just saying I appreciate it. All right, so it looks like you've got 2 main connections, and there's also a diagnostic connection that ties into it that you can't really see from here. I'm not sure which is which. They say to unplug the B5 port. However, there's no label on here, so I'm just going to unplug both of them. Because what's the worst that can happen at this point? What, is it not going to work? You know, because unfortunately, it already doesn't work. Alright. So, I'm going to go actually clean this up because it's pretty filthy right now. This would have been the top, sat like that, and you can see there's a lot of shit on it. So I'm gonna go clean it up. I'm gonna figure out which one of these is B5. We'll be back in a sec. Okay, so I just went for it. As you see, there's a lot of tape on this, so it's quite a chore, but pretty sure that's it right there. So I found it. Now I'm gonna have to take off more tape to get to it. The tach filter, that's what the part is. And yeah, then I'll have to do some wiring and put it all back together. So stay tuned. I'll bring you back when I'm at a stopping point. Okay, so I found it. Right, there it is. Same thing. problem is one of these wires goes into the connection. I guess this is B5, right? So for reference, it's the smaller of the two, just so you know if you're doing this yourself. So one of these wires goes into the connector, and 3 of them actually go up and either splice in with other wires or just straight up connect to another wire, right? Like it's not one full piece, and they made it that way so you could take it apart and do what I'm doing, right? So I had to take a bunch of tape off, but you know, there's like a whole pile right here. Most of it I think was tape, but in any case, I'm gonna go ahead and take these apart, and one by one I'm gonna start switching them out. So I'm probably gonna start with the purple one, and then I'm gonna go up to the white one, and then I'm gonna go to the 2 more difficult ones, the red and black. And I will be back to you shortly. All right, so stay tuned. Okay guys, so I'm not really at a stopping point, but I wanted to stop and show you this. So this connection right here basically has like a black shrink wrap on it. I'm sure that different mechanics do it different ways, but that's how they did it. And what they did was they actually cut the gray wire, soldered it back together with the red wire, right? So it was like a 3-way. I'm going to show you how I'm doing it. You don't have to do it this way. This may not be the best way. This is how I'm doing it, all right? I'm just letting you know. So what I'm doing is I'm actually, so this is one that's already done. You know, this was just a white wire, so there was no 3-way. I'm using spade connectors, and then I'm actually putting slightly larger shrink wrap over the spade connectors, and I'm pinching the bottom where that's not going to be necessary on this, but I'm pinching it so that way no moisture or critters can get in there, right? So I'm basically done with this one. So at the, and the reason why I'm using spade connectors, I know that it's gonna cause some interesting fluctuations in the actual voltage going through it, so on and so forth. I'm not an electronics person, but I know that it's going to affect that. The signal clarity would be the words. However, I'm using spade connectors because at some point in the future, this is also going to break, and I'm going to need to replace it as well. So if I don't use spade connectors, it's going to be an ever shortening wire, right? And I don't want that. I want this to remain as it is now. Maybe with a little more resistance with this, but that's okay, right? It will figure it out. It's a computer. That's what its job is. But I wanted to show you how I'm actually doing this, so that way, as you go forth and conquer your computers, you can also take some of these lessons to heart. And also, I'm your guinea pig, right? So you're going to see in the future whether or not this works. Cool. So that being said, the weather's changing, right? So it's starting to kind of take a turn for the worst, whatever. Worst. And I'm going to have to kind of hurry my butt up and get this finished. I'm almost done. I got one more wire. Right, I got one more wire to do, and then I'll be done, right? So I've gotten the white one, the red one, and the purple one. The purple one was actually very challenging. This is another thing I'm going to tell you so that you can save yourself a lot of time and heartache, unlike me. So this blue clip right here comes out, right? And that's what holds all of these in, right? So these actually don't really hold themselves in. They're held in by this. So take this blue clip out, and it'll save you a lot of heartache. Unlike my dumb ass, I did not do that. Yeah, don't be like me. But yeah, almost done. I'll cut to when I'm finished, and we'll see if this thing works. Okay guys, so I'm actually not done yet, but I'm at a point where I can see if this thing will start. You can see, I've just got it hooked up and it's just dangling there. I'm actually gonna upgrade this. So I'm a bit of a prepper, guys, and what I'm gonna do is I've got some electrostatic shock-proof bags. I'm gonna actually tuck this thing away in a few of those bags and just slip it back where it was,
and Velcro the bags to the bracket. That way I can also just slide my computer out when I need to get to it. Anyway, let's see if it'll run. All right, so if it works, what you'll hear is you'll hear the fuel pump kick on, and then you'll hear a click. That means that this part is actually functioning the way that it should. So let's check it out. All right, it clicked. And the battery is dead. Classic. All right, cool. Let me charge the battery real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, so the battery's dead, right? I'm charging the battery right now. But while it's charging, I want to do kind of switch gears with you. So what I'm going to do right now is I have some of these Mylar like electrostatic shock proof bags, and I'm actually going to EMP proof this box. This is the computer. I've already cleaned it up as best I could. You can see there's still some crud on it. So what I'm going to do is, it's already got Velcro on it, thanks to Howell, or Steve's Jeeps Country, the guys that actually put it in. Big shout out to them. This isn't an endorsement, I'm just saying they're really good guys and you should check them out. I'm going to Velcro this to the inside of one bag, right? Because they're only open on one side. So I'm going to slip it in, Velcro it into this one, cut a slit in the bottom of this, feed the wires through that, tape it shut, and then I'm actually going to fit this whole thing inside of this, and then I'm going to tape around that seam. That might seem like a lot of work. It's actually not. So I'm just going to cut through it. Alright guys, I'll see you in a few minutes. Alright, so getting close to the end here, right? So I've got the box in this bag. Alright, this is just a used one. You know, you can get them new pretty cheap. They're not very expensive. If you get any kind of electronics, you can actually order electronics and they'll come in these bags. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take and measure, I don't know, maybe the largest width that I need to cut. I'm going to cut a slot for that. Sorry, the camera's moving on me. And then I'm actually just going to fit all of them in through this. Use this as kind of like a dry cleaning bag hanging over all of these wires, and then I'm going to slip the box up in here, connect them, and then I'm just going to tape this area off. So you don't really need to see all of that. I'll show you a quick view of the finished image before I start the Jeep. All right. Okay guys, I just finished wrapping up. You know what a computer in a Mylar bag looks like. It looks like a box in a bag, okay? So I'm not going to show you that. But I'm excited because I got one of the batteries charged. I have a, you know, it turns out one of the two was already charged and the other one was completely dead. So I checked the voltage on them, and that's how I figured that out. So I'm about to actually, for real, see if this thing will start, right? I'm pretty excited. Here we go.